Okay, guys. So today's a practice session. We're going to be practicing what we did yesterday, which is the writing for an academic discussion, right? The second question or the second task of the writing section. So yesterday we talked about how to answer this question, how to write a post. Remember that what you have here is an online discussion, right? An online debate for an online class in reality. And well, what you have to do is answer the question that the professor raised and express and support your opinion and also contribute to the discussion, right? So you need to be actually part of it. And well, basically that's it. You have the template. It's here. In any case, I will send it to you guys. And we're going to be working okay, guys. Okay. Okay, guys, so I want you all to please open that link. Please open that link. Okay, great. Okay, guys, so you already know the instructions, you already know what to do. Remember, you have 10 minutes to write your post, right? These are the instructions. Your professor is teaching a class on social studies. Write a post responding to the professor's question. In your response, you should A, express and support your personal opinion, and B, make a contribution to the discussion in your own words. An effective response will contain at least 100 words. This is the professor's introduction and the question. Then you have Sarah's response, one of your classmates, and Mark's response, another of your classmates. I'm going to paste the template here so that you guys can use it and you can just like fill it out. You don't have to copy everything. It will be there. Make it. All right, it's there. And I'm also going to copy this part here of the elements so that you can see what elements your post should have. Okay, guys. So again, somebody's joining just now. Please, I'm sending you guys the link again. Open the link that is on this chat. Open that link. And I want you all to make a copy of this document. Please don't write anything on this document. Don't type anything, okay? What you have to do is go here, File, and create a copy. And you can write down your name in the title of the document, of the new document, right? But please make a copy. Don't type anything here, okay? So again, open the link that is on the chat, go to File, create a copy. You can write down your name. And if you could, it's okay if you don't do it, if you have already created a copy, but if you can click on this, share it with the same people. But if you didn't, it's fine as well. Okay, guys? And you're gonna write your response here below, or if you want, you can fill out the template that's already there, up to you. Okay, guys? Do you have any questions about what you need to do? Or anything at all? Okay, guys. So please, starting now, you will have 10 minutes to write your posts. So that means that 20, 40, 45, okay, because it's gonna take some time to do the entire thing. You're gonna have to submit it or send it to me. Okay, guys? So please start writing your responses now. If you have questions, let me know. I'll be right here. So just to speak, and I'll not be here. Okay, guys, so it's time. Please, if you could send me your responses. If you want, you can just copy and paste them here on the Zoom chat. Or you could also send me the link of the document. But if you send me the response alone, it's fine. And copy, paste it here on the Zoom chat and send them to me. So please, okay, I've already got one. Okay, I already got questions. What are all the rest? Okay, please don't edit this document. Remember to send your responses to me and I will paste them here. Okay, guys, so let's start reading Christian's response. So first of all, it's pretty long, right? Let's count how many words Christian has written. Okay, 180, that's almost, so it looks really complete, but let's see. First of all, we have the introduction, right? I completely support Mark's opinion, okay, good. So you believe that social media has mostly improved society. Now, besides the fact that social media has provided us with a great tool to be connected with our beloved ones who live in other countries for free. Okay, great. So besides the fact that social media has provided us with, careful with that expression, when you use provide, it's always followed with. Has provided us with a great tool to be connected with our beloved ones who live in other countries for free. Okay, nice. It is widely known that social platforms such as Facebook or Instagram, great. After this part, it is widely known that you don't need a comma, but you do need a comma when to separate the examples, such as Facebook or Instagram, allowed millions of people to improve their economic situation. Great. Since these powerful platforms enabled all these people to easily sell and open online stores and create a new generation of entrepreneurs. Okay, I love your reason. I like that it's different from everything that's been said, and it is definitely adding to this debate. Great. I like the punctuation here. You're using since, so you need a comma before. Your tenses are well conjugated. Maybe here you would say since these powerful platforms enable them, so that we don't repeat, but it's great. Now, Sarah has a good point. After you have stated your own point of view and your own reason, you need to challenge the other student's point, right? So we're gonna, so you said, Sarah has a good point when she says that social media has provoked many mental illnesses to people and social problems. Okay, yes. This is something that Sarah says, so it's great. However, it is important to note that mental health and social problems like bullying. Okay, I love this. So yes, you are directly, I like how Christian, for example, has chosen one of the points that Sarah talks about. And when he is contrasting or counter arguing that point, it's completely related, right? This point was about mental illnesses and social problems, but he says, yes, that's true, but these problems have always existed, right? Coma and other factors cause this issue. For example, during the Great Depression or in the Great Depression in 1930 in the US, many people had, don't forget your chances, had terrible problems in their families due to their economic situations. As a result of this dramatic event, there were many people with depression and anxiety. Right? So these problems have already existed in the past. That's why I feel that social media has more advantages than disadvantages for people and societies. I love your response, Christian. Everything is great. Maybe there's only one tip that I can give you, and that would be that here, when you elaborate on your idea, this part here, even though it is true, what you said here is perfect, right? You're perfectly fine contrasting this point that, yes, social media provokes mental illnesses, but they have always existed. But when you continue elaborating on this idea, instead of proving this point that mental illnesses have always existed, I would try to show or present details that show, the good side of social media, because that is your main point at the end of the day. Your main objective here in your response is to prove that social media is a good thing, right? That social media, as you say here, has more advantages than disadvantages. So here I would continue elaborating on the advantages, right? I would say something maybe like, in order to connect the ideas, however, it is important to note that have always existed. And instead of saying this, maybe I would say, and social media has actually brought many other many other advantages that weigh more. And then you could probably talk about some of those advantages here, right? Or maybe give more details as for what you already mentioned, that this has allowed people to improve their economic situation. So you could say, for example, or maybe you could say, these social problems have always existed, and actually social media has in some cases helped people with their mental health. And maybe you can mention a few details for that, right? So you can provide an example, mention some facts. You could continue talking about how it has helped people improve their economic situation. So that's the only thing that I would say. In that part, try to focus on proving your main point, which is that social media has more advantages than disadvantages. Okay? That's the only thing I would say, but I think it's a great response. Well done, Christian.
Okay, thank you very much.
Of course, guys. Do you have any questions so far? Okay, what about the other ones? Micaela, Elizabeth, Carolina, have you guys sent your your responses, please send them to me. Come on, guys. It doesn't matter if you weren't able to finish. Send me what you have. So are you guys gonna send me your responses? Michaela?
I already shared it with you. Your email, maybe.
Okay. Thank you. Maybe I would find it here. My mail. Which mail? Okay, I have, okay, here it is. Okay, perfect. So let's check. Let's see. All right. So we have, I completely support Sarah's opinion, great. So you're saying that social media has caused more harm than good. And you say, besides the fact that social media has caused more harm than good, okay, I like this, but remember that in this second part, what you have to do is summarize Sarah's main point. So Sarah's main reason, in other words. So here you are mentioning her opinion again, right? Don't mention her opinion in this part, mention her reason. So she says that social media has caused more harm than good because I think her main point is that that people is suffering from mental health problems, right? So you could say, besides the fact that social media has caused, I don't know, has made people or has increased mental illnesses in people, for example, it is widely known that, so that would be one thing. It is widely known that social media has, and what happened here?
I I don't have enough time. I didn't have
Okay,
enough time.
okay, you didn't have enough time, you didn't know what to, maybe you weren't able to think of a reason, right, why social media has. To be honest, what I would say first of all is read about these topics, the effects of technology, the effects of social media, the effects of video games, because these are questions that you will have here and also in the first question of the speaking section. So you really want to have some ideas or vocabulary related to these topics. And second thing that I would say is make sure that you go in order. That means that it's better that if you're going to run out of time, I mean, obviously running out of time is not a good thing, but if you are going to run out of time, it's better that you have the first parts instead of having something like this, right? Where you have some blank spaces. So it would be good if you have like even the first 4 points or even the first 5 points and you don't have the last two, then you have in the first and then the third and then the fourth and the fifth and then the seventh. Okay. Now we have Mark has a good point when he says that social media has mostly improved society. So same thing here. Instead of, this is his opinion, right? But you don't want to talk about his opinion, you want to talk about his reason. So you would have to say Mark has a good point when he says that social media has, I don't know, given people a voice or has enabled people to express their opinions more freely, for example. And then you have to say, however, it's important to know and challenge that point. So look for something that objects to that idea. So it is true that people are more connected now. However, it's important to know that maybe this connection is also enabling, I don't know, to spread bad things or to spread bad messages, maybe, so that would counter argue what Mark has said. And then you said not everyone has Facebook or any kind of social media. This is good, but this doesn't really challenge Mark's point, right? So for example, my parents don't have Facebook, and for me it's better because they're not exposed to misinformation. This is perfect. You could have used this argument, right? You could have said, however, it's important to know that not only that social media, I mean, is useful for connecting people and giving them a voice, but it has also led to a huge amount of misinformation being spread, for example. And then you will have to say, for example, and talk about one detail or one thing that maybe you could illustrate that part of misinformation. Maybe you could say, for example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, many, I don't know, many like many unempathetic people, I don't know, were spreading information, were spreading wrong information, or I don't know. Yeah, we're misinforming people on the, I don't know, on the use of masks, for example. You could say that some people were saying that people don't have to use masks through social media, right? So that maybe that could be an example for this point. And finally, your conclusion, right, where you directly answer the question. So my advice to you, Micaela, would be try to read the example that we did. You can also check out Christian's response and try to see what elements or what you have to say in each element, what it's, so that you can work better on the content. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Of course, do you have any questions or does anyone have any question? Okay, so here we have Elizabeth's response as well. Let's see. Okay, it says, I completely support Mark's opinion. Okay, so in this case, Mark said that social media has mostly improved society. Nice. We're gonna say, besides the fact that thanks to social networks, okay, now many people are heard who were previously, maybe the phrasing, besides the fact that thanks to social networks, many people who were previously ignored are now heard, maybe. It is widely known that social media helps us find jobs and professional opportunities, and we can also work online. Okay, I really like this. I love what you're saying. It's a different reason that wasn't mentioned before. I would be careful with the grammar part. This is not date because we're talking about social media, right? Social media helps us. It helps us find jobs and professional opportunities. We can also work online. I love this, but maybe I would be a little bit more general here, and I would leave these details for the elaboration part. So maybe here I would say it is widely known that social media has had a positive effect on, I don't know, our professional life, let's say, or on our search for professional opportunities, let's say. And then in the elaboration part, you could mention these as examples, right? A job through social media, or maybe you're working online right now. You could have personal examples, something like that. So maybe I would include a more general thing here, and I will leave this for the details. So then we have, Sarah has a good point when she says that people could develop mental problems. Okay, mental problems as a result of, I would maybe add, as a result of a I don't know, of misusing social media. However, it's important to find a balance and use social networks in a good way. Okay, this is good, but remember that what you have to do here is challenge this point. So what I would say, I would continue with the same template. However, it is important to note that if you find a balance and use social media in a good way, there should be no risk of developing any type of mental problems, for example. And that way you're gonna directly contrast and challenge this point of mental problems, right? Because the second thing has to be related. And then we have, for example, sharing achievements and inspiring goals, sharing educational content, and sharing recommendations and reviews. Okay, good. So yes, these are examples of the good things that you can do with social media, right? I would maybe add something else. I would say, for example, some of the many, I don't know, the many uses or positive uses of social media would be, and then you can mention these ones. And we have such as the ONU Treaty Against Plastic Pollution. Okay, good. This is good, but for the grammar part, you can never start a sentence with a phrase such as. If you are going to use such as, it has to be the continuation of something. In fact, and I would say, the ONU Treaty Against Plastic Pollution, or there was a treaty against plastic pollution a few years ago. No one would find out about this if it were not through social media, through social networks, and no one would take the necessary importance. Okay, no one would take this seriously, maybe, right, for idiomaticity. Don't forget punctuation too before the word and. But it's okay. That's why I feel that by using it in an ethical way, social media can help us build a better world and grow as a society. I like this, but I don't know if it's a direct response to the question, because the question is not, if you use social media in a good way, can it help build a better world and grow as a society? That wasn't the question, right? The question is that social media cause more harm than good. So I will try to directly answer this question. That's why I feel that social media definitely, you could paraphrase it, say something like Christian said, has more advantages than disadvantages, or directly copy and paste, right? Cause more good than harm, or has more pros than cons, or is a positive thing, right? Something that directly answers this question. That would be another thing. I know another tip that I can give you. Make sure that in your last sentence, you're directly answering the question that they asked, so that it's not confusing. Okay. Only that, but it's a good response overall. Well done. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Who else? Carolina, you there? No, her not. Okay, guys. So you are gonna do another one, don't worry, and it's gonna be an assignment for home. I will send you the instructions just the way I did for the previous one. The previous one was due today, right? Today in a couple of hours. So this one is gonna be due on Friday. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys instructions today after class. And I will send you the document where you have the material that you need, right? So that you have the question. Any questions so far? Is everything clear? Everything okay? No questions? Guys, one thing that I also wanted to say before I forget is, since we started late at 8:30 and we're gonna finish in 10 minutes, I had some calls with, well, I had two, right? You guys had booked sessions for today. So are you guys okay with having those sessions after class? That means, I think, Micaela was first, and then we had Christian, right? So if you guys are okay with that, Micaela, we could have the session with you at 9:30 and Christian 9:45, if it's okay. But if it's too late, then we could reschedule it for some other day. So what do you guys think?
For me, so it's great.
Okay, thank you, Micaela. Christian, what about you?
Yes, for me it's good too.
Okay, thank you so much. So again, Micaela, I'll see you right after class, 9:30, and Christian, 9:45. Yes. Okay, no questions then? Everything's clear? Okay. So I don't know what else we could do. To be honest, we're finishing with this. So what we could do is probably continue checking sample responses. Let's see, there's this website. Okay, so for example, we have some other sample responses here. We have two of them because there are many ways in which we could respond to this question, right? There are many ways. So let's read this sample answer too. So It says, in my opinion, social media is incredibly beneficial. So we have the introduction first, right? We're doing it in a different way, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. The first part, we have the introduction. In this case, this person, the writer, agrees with Mark, right? And then he says, I strongly agree with Mark's idea that social media gives a voice to people that society used to ignore. So it's basically the same as what we do, right? We're saying we do it in a different way though, right? We say besides the fact that social media gives a voice to people that society used to ignore, it is also, or it is widely known that, and then we add one more reason. But we're doing the same. This person is doing exactly the same, right? He's saying, I would add that, and then he adds his own contribution, right? His own reason. His reason is that it is almost impossible for most people to get their messages in television or in print media because those are controlled by companies and wealthy individuals. Okay, so I think it's a good reason. And one thing I like is that it's somehow related to Mark's idea, you know, because Mark's idea was that social media gives a voice to people. And then this person is continuing with that same idea, but adding something different, right? So why else is social media especially good? Because even though there are other platforms like television or print media, those are controlled by companies and wealthy individuals, right? But social media is not. So yes, a good way of doing it. Then we have this second part, which is basically how we summarize the other student's main point, right? In this case, the one that we don't agree with, Sarah. So Sarah raised the relevant point that social media causes mental health problems in some young people. So it's basically what we do when we say, I don't know, Sarah has a good point when he says that, it's the same, right? And then we challenge that point. We say, but she didn't mention that social media can also help us to cope with and recover from such problems. So look at how this is very important. And I think what I was mentioning this, it's important that when you challenge the other student's point, what you're saying is related, right? It has to be related, directly objecting to what the student said, to what the other student said, right? So if Sarah said something about health problems, then you have to continue talking about health problems, challenging that point, right? That's what he's doing here. Social media can help us cope and recover from these problems. For example, there are a lot of support groups on communities like Facebook, where people can talk about their struggles and get advice from people going through similar experiences. It's a great example, and it is related to what was said previously, right? Now, many people have mentioned that such groups are critically important to their lives. Well, that's just continuing elaborating the same idea. What this person doesn't have is like a conclusion, right? But why does this person not have a conclusion? Because his opinion is in the beginning, but ours is not, right? We're not giving directly, explicitly our opinion in the beginning. We're just saying that we agree with one student. So where we do this is at the end, right? That's why I would say that social media is incredibly beneficial. But at the end of the day, it's exactly the same, right? So what do you guys think? Any questions now?
In this case, the student is using his example based on his sentence that is challenging, right? The other student, but is it? You told me that it's better to use the example to illustrate the main point, right?
Yes. I mean, let's go back to your case. So, in this case, it's okay if you give your example in your details, proving this point that you used to challenge the other one, right? But the important thing at the end is that everything that you do and everything that you say supports your main point. Your main point is your opinion, right? Your opinion is that social media has more advantages and disadvantages. So what happened in your case was that what you said here is not or directly related to the fact that social media has more advantages than disadvantages. What you're saying here in this part is that you're focusing mostly on mental problems, right? You're saying that mental problems have always existed, and that's what your details are proving. But your details at the end of the day should prove that that social media has more advantages than disadvantages. So that's why I made that comment. But in this case, I wouldn't make the same comment, because if you look at the example is proving the main opinion or the point of the student, right? That social media is incredibly beneficial because it's an example of one benefit of social media. That there are a lot of support groups, that it helps people cope and recover with these problems, right? So it depends, I guess. It's not bad if you give your details for the point that you have here, as long as it's supporting your opinion directly, right? So that is the difference in this case.
Okay. Thank
Yes. Any other question? Okay, guys, thank you so much, and thank you for understanding and for things on understanding and joining a little bit later today. Before you go, please don't forget, we actually have to complete 2 surveys today. So please, I'm sending you all the first one, and when you guys are done, I will send the other one too. Don't go yet, please. Okay. Now I'm sending the other one too. And thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys tomorrow. So I'll see some of you in a couple of minutes, but I'll see you all tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.